Got the blood flowing?
Oh, yes.
1, 2, on. Live from Collingswood, New Jersey. We are here at Joyful Gathering Spiritual Center. Woo! Having a party today. Today we conclude our whole theme for the month of love in action. And I want to begin by sharing a quote that I started the whole series with by Mother Teresa. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. And I want to also share something we did 2 ways ago because it was also very powerful for me and for many of us. So place your hand on your heart and say this after me, please. My heart is broken open to deeper love.
My heart is broken open to deeper love.
And I commit to outrageous acts of service.
And I commit to outrageous acts of service.
That only I can do.
That only I can do.
We're going to say that again and change one word. My heart is broken open to deeper love.
My heart is broken open to deeper love.
And I commit to acts of outrageous love.
And I commit to acts of outrageous love.
That only I can do.
That only I can do.
Beautiful. Beautiful, powerful. And we bring our theme of love in action to a close today, and I want to do this by celebrating the outrageous acts of love, outrageous acts of sacred service that only you can do, each one of us, and that you are already doing, but more of what you think and how you feel and how you move into that service in life. And we're really going to get into that this morning. But before we move into that celebration, I want to share with you briefly, two ideas that will support us in developing a true service consciousness. And one in which all thoughts of obligation, commitment, or burden are removed from the idea. First, and I think most of us are doing this already, we have an intention, but perhaps we don't connect with that service intention. We live from that intention to serve God in all that we do. Everything that we do, a higher power, the infinite grace, the loving intelligence, this is what we call God. I call it divine energy. We call God this divine energy, and we serve divine energy because then we know we are in alignment with the good that is the truth of our being. By serve, I mean to honor, respect, revere, hold holy and sacred. This life force, it is a life force that is the creation, the creator behind all that is. To feel that deep, abiding connection with this energy, with this presence. To live our lives from a place of conscious union with the divine. Does that make sense? Does it?
Yes.
If it doesn't, I will go on and explain it even more. There's more to come.
Makes sense.
Okay. There's a wonderful story about Mother Teresa when she was asked, how do you do it? How do you serve the orphan, the lepers, the dying, day after day, year after year? How do you do this? Her answer was profoundly simple and profoundly beautiful. She said that in each face she looked in, she saw the face of her beloved Lord Jesus, and remembering his words, those who serve the least among thee serve me. Oh, I got God bumps on that one. One of my favorite stories, which I have used before, but it fits in here so nicely, is a story about a little boy who heard a lot about God in his Sunday school. And he decided one day he was going to go out and meet God. So one day he packed up his little bag with two of the most important things for his journey to meet God. His 2 sets of Twinkies and 2 root beers. He walked for about 3 blocks to a park and thought, well, maybe I'll find God here. He looked around, and there was only this elderly woman sitting on the bench. And so he went over and he sat on the other side of the bench. He waited a while, and she was just looking at the birds and the squirrels and the pigeons, so pretty. And soon he opened up his bag. He pulled out a Twinkie and began eating. And as he was eating, he thought, I wonder if she's hungry. So she didn't say anything, they didn't say anything. He handed her a Twinkie and she accepted it and smiled. A little later, he decided to have another Twinkie. So he offered her another one, which she took and smiled at him. And pretty soon, he opened his root beer because he was thirsty. And he thought, well, maybe she's thirsty too. So he took out the other root beer and he handed it to her. And the two of them just sat there for almost 3 hours, just eating Twinkies, drinking root beer, looking at the squirrels and the birds, and every so often feeding the pigeons. Eventually, it started to get dark. So the little boy gathered up his things and began to walk away. And suddenly he turned back on impulse. And he turned back and gave her a big hug. She hugged him back. And she flashed this huge smile, and he went home. They never exchanged a word. When the little boy got home, his mother said, so where have you been today? And he said, well, I went to the park and I met God. But you know what? She has a great smile. About the same time, the elderly woman, she went home where she lived with her adult son, who said, Mom, you've been gone for quite a long time today. What happened? And she says, I was in the park and I met God. And you know, he's a lot younger than I would have thought. Mahatma Gandhi said, when you surrender completely to God as the only truth worth having, you find yourself in service to all that exists. It becomes your joy and recreation. You never tire of serving others. We develop this service consciousness and help remove all feelings and thoughts of obligation, commitment, the burden of any of that. And we have the intention to serve God, to serve a higher power, to see God in all that we do. And the second is live from that intention, and all you do is blessed and multiplied. Very cool frame reference. Wouldn't it feel wonderful to move through life from a perspective that everything you say and do is expressed today as a blessing, and that blessing is multiplied? Now notice that I didn't say that it would be just you who would be receiving that blessing and the returns from that blessing. I also didn't say it would be someone else who would be receiving the blessings, the multiplied blessings. I simply said a blessing with multiple returns, meaning a blessing to everyone, multiplied blessings for everyone. It's for everyone, everywhere. When we do one act of service, one act of kindness, which is service, we extend that out into the world, and it is multiplied, and we receive as well as others receive. When we live from this intention, service is a natural, automatic thing. When we are giving the very best of ourselves to the people and activities that we are engaged with, and by the nature of the spiritual law, we cannot help but receive in return inner inspiration, revelation, and fulfillment that is also the very best that God has to offer us. That's why those songs were so perfect. Fit right in. Let God lead the way. Yes. Let me give you a modified version of the Beatitudes from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, where he said, "Blessed are those who love, for his love spreads throughout the earth. They shall be deeply loved. Blessed are the grateful, for their attitude of gratitude increases and returns the bounty of life. Blessed are the healers, for their work, and they too shall be blessed very well. Blessed are those who listen, for they should be heard and understood. Blessed are those who choose to be kind rather than right, for they shall create long-lasting, beautiful relationships. Blessed are those who know how to give and to receive, for inexhaustible riches is theirs. Blessed are the altruists, for they shall usher in the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the servants, for they shall be served and well attended to. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall find peace and well-being. Blessed are the joyful, for joy and happiness is theirs. Blessed are those who notice, for they shall find small delights around every corner. And so as we live from the two areas that we spoke of this morning, intention to serve God and all that we do, and from the intention that all that we do is blessed and multiplied. What a great way to live life. We cannot help then but develop a true sense of service consciousness, one in which all thoughts of obligation, commitment, or burden are completely released, and the true meaning, the true purpose of life is revealed. In the words of the Holiness, the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, we are visitors for 90 or 100 years at the very most. And during that period, we must try to do something good, something useful with our lives. If you contribute to other people's happiness, you will find the true goal, the true meaning of life. As he said many times, happiness is my religion. Kindness is my religion. So let us spend the rest of our time here this morning doing what I said we were going to do, which is to celebrate the service consciousness that exists in each and every one of us. You ever notice that a child just wants to give? He wants to help. He or she wants to help. That is natural, is born in each and every one of us. It's the truth of our being. And of course, spiritual community gives us the opportunity to live in service. So I first want to recognize those here who do that in service on a regular basis. Please stand up. Please stand up if you're in service in any way. And if you are currently serving this community in any way whatsoever, please stand up. And if you have served the spiritual community in any way, please stand and remain standing. And have you done any of these things? For those of you not standing, let me ask you this. Have you smiled at another congregant? If you have, stand up. Have you greeted someone warmly during today? Have you added to the collective consciousness of joy and gratitude while in this room together? If you have done any of those things, please rise, because you are serving. And now I want you to turn to someone. I don't do this often, but I want you to turn to someone and say to them, thank you for serving. You are awesome.
Thank you for serving. You are awesome.
And then turn to someone else. I knew this one. Turn to someone else and say, thank you for being a blessing in my life. Thank you for being a blessing in my life. Yes? And thirdly, one more thing. Okay, thank you for sharing your unique gifts with us. Thank you for sharing your unique gifts with us. Yes, and so it is. You may sit down. Yes, it's good to move. Now take a really deep breath and turn within. And close your eyes if you like or not. And repeat these words after me. I am in sacred service and I am awesome.
I am in sacred service and I am awesome.
I am a blessing to this world and I am blessed.
I am a blessing to this world and I am blessed.
My unique gifts provide richness to the world.
My unique gifts provide richness to the world.
I celebrate who I am.
I celebrate who I am.
I celebrate my unique gifts to the world.
I celebrate my unique gifts to the world.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right, now we feel good. Yeah!